Over the last several years, the Yakuza series has seen a huge spike in popularity in the West thanks to titles like Yakuza 0. When Yakuza Like a Dragon was announced, people were understandably hesitant as it had a brand new protagonist and a huge shift from being an action brawler to a turn-based JRPG. I'm here to tell you that not only does Like a Dragon maintain that same level of compelling storytelling and wacky side content, but it's hands down one of the best games of 2020.
I like where this is going.
Yakuza Like a Dragon will feel familiar to fans of the series, but also serves as the perfect entry point to new players. You play as a brand new protagonist named Ichiban Kasuga. After his Yakuza family abandons him, he's left to fend for himself and build a life from nothing. What makes Ichiban so compelling is his heartwarming, if not slightly naive charm. He always sees the positive side of things and tries to help people whenever he can. And he likely got this from his love of Dragon Quest. Growing up, he loved the series and his dream has always been to become a hero.
When it's time to throw down, my brain just starts thinking in Dragon Quest terms.
Again with the Dragon Quest?
And he does this in his own ways, even if it goes against the Yakuza creed or what society might say is the quote-unquote right thing to do. Along his journey, you'll befriend a number of colorful characters that will help round out the story in wonderful ways. Some of the best moments of the story are when Ichiban and his pals are just having a drink and sharing a laugh together. You'll learn about their heartbreaking past and insecurities, which only endears them to you that much more. Like a Dragon has a bonding system similar to something you might find in Persona. As your bond meter fills up, it then opens up events where you get to learn more about your party members. There's also additional benefits like earning more experience when you're not in the party, and certain character classes require certain bond levels to access. I knew Yakuza Like a Dragon was going to be fun to play, but I was not prepared for how much I would fall in love with the story and these characters. Oh, and for those who don't like reading subtitles, there is a full English voice dub accompanied by proper lip syncing. This is something that Yakuza hasn't had in a long time. Now I'm sure most people will play with a Japanese audio, but it's nice to have this option.
Really? Finally, some good news.
One of the biggest changes found in Like a Dragon compared to its predecessors is its shift to a JRPG-style turn-based combat system. Battles seamlessly transition from the environment right into combat. This can often have interesting side effects like objects blocking you from hitting your enemies or even using objects in the environment to dish out extra damage. If you've ever played a JRPG before, Like a Dragon will be fairly familiar. You'll select a command from a menu and then the next turn takes place, be it your party or the enemy. The turn order seems to be based on a speed stat as certain characters seem to always attack first. There's also helpful indicators letting you know whose turn it will be next so you can prioritize certain commands. I have to say I really enjoyed the lengths that developers went to make fantasy-style enemies out of normal citizens. There's guys that fight with umbrellas and trash can lids instead of swords and shields, and rabid otakus that fight with glow sticks. They were all wonderfully amusing and I always looked forward to new areas to see what silly enemies would inhabit them. And much like Dragon Quest, your characters have pseudo-classes to serve certain roles. Namba, for example, is kind of a mage class with his fire-spewing ability, while Adachi serves as a tank with a lot of attention-grabbing abilities. At first I was concerned that constantly running into battles in a game like this might get repetitive, but the battles are pretty snappy and keep things really interesting. There's also timed button presses during combat to bolster your offense and defense to keep you constantly engaged. At one point in the story, you're even given the option to change classes that boast new abilities and outfits. This really helps keep things fresh if you end up using the same abilities over and over. And depending on how deep you dive into certain side activities, you can even recruit new characters to your party. Speaking of side activities, let's dive into those because there's a lot to do and for the most part they're all fun. The one-off side quests are as wacky as you'd expect. In one, you'll be escorting a naked guy covered in bubbles across town to a clothing store, and another you'll be tracking down perverts and sickos via a Pokédex-like app. You never know what you're about to get yourself into, but it's always worth the ride. You also have more persistent side activities that you'll find yourself going back to again and again. The can collecting game, for example, awards you with items that might normally take you forever to track down across town. You also have the business management minigame that can get you tons of money, which is really helpful for gearing up your team. This particular activity seems really overwhelming at first, but the more I understood it, the more addicted I got. I even ended up going on a 3-hour binge trying to climb all the ranks to the top. What's really thoughtful about all these side activities is that they all play off each other. To upgrade your gear, you'll need an item that's pretty much easier to get in the can collecting game. If combat is more your thing and you need money, you can simply fulfill requests on the Hero app to get a ton of money and crafting materials. It seems kind of random at first, but all the systems really weave together nicely. I also want to give a special mention to the city you play in, Yokohama. It's so fun to explore. Having lived in South Korea for a year and being lucky enough to have visited Japan, this feels so accurate to what it's like to actually be there. Minus running into thugs constantly. Something I found interesting was instead of running into inns to restore your HP and MP, you'll buy food at restaurants. They all pretty much heal you for the same amount, but it's amusing to pop into different restaurants and browse their menus. Yokohama looks particularly cool at night when all the bright lights are on. It's a truly stunning sight on PS4 that I'm sure will only look better on the next-gen versions.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yakuza Like a Dragon surprised me in the best way possible. I knew plenty of wacky hijinks and fun combat were in store for me, but I never expected to be so drawn into Ichiban's story. His fun-loving, upbeat personality kept me glued to the game, anticipating the next story beat. And the bevy of fun side activities kept me coming back hour after hour with their addictive game loop and enticing rewards. Clocking in at around 40 hours, Yakuza Like a Dragon is well worth your cash and is more than a worthy sequel to this storied franchise. Whether you've played every game in the series or are thinking of jumping in for the very first time, you absolutely should, as Yakuza Like a Dragon is without question one of 2020's must-play games. Now if you want to hear about the other must-play games of 2020, be sure to check out my review playlist, as there's tons of games in there that kind of slip through the cracks that I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to. And if you want to stay up to date with all things JRPGs and Japanese games, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.